He may be the only one that is, at least some of the time, polite enough not to turn a corner. Mm-hmm. But if there is, sometimes what I see that might be happening here is that there are a bunch of people in the office that are trying to give you feedback. And they're just doing it in a way that doesn't really preserve your dignity.
If you coach me, I'd like to help her.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's coach Clarence on giving you the feedback.
Okay.
Because in order to give somebody feedback that is really useful, the first order of business is for you to be clean in your heart. That you're not trying to dump something on them or judge them or change them. You're just giving them a mirror of what it is they did and what effect it had on you. So when you say she talks too much, that's not something that she did. That's mixing in what she did with what reaction you had to it. So let's try to kind of like uncouple these two things. What she did, so she knows what happened, and what effect it had on you, and why it matters, as two separate things. So what is it that she did that you call talking too much?
Well, she'll come in when I'm working on something, and she'll see me working, and she'll start talking, and she won't, get a clue.
Okay, so one of the things is if you want to give somebody feedback, instead of talking in generalities, like she will come into my office, she won't, think about a particular incident, like what happened today or yesterday. It's much easier to make the connection because she will remember.
Okay, I was working on a report this morning and she came in and she wanted to tell me about the weekend. And I asked her.
That's what she did?
Yes.
Okay. And she did that at a time when you were working, and she continued after you asked her to talk at another time?
Right.
Okay, that's the piece that she did. That's what you observed her doing.
Okay.
Then the effect that had on you, what effect did it have on you? Not the judgment of her, but why does this matter? What's important to you that this is not supporting you in?
Well, I wanted to talk to her, but I couldn't get my report done because then I just couldn't concentrate.
Okay, so what's important to you is to be able to focus and concentrate.
Yeah.
And make connection at a time that you feel leisurely.
Yeah.
So that's the piece of what matters to you about this. And then what is it that you would like her to do differently? Do you know?
I'd like her to just notice that I'm working at my desk.
Okay. Noticing is not an action. Noticing is an internal state. And that is one of the things that so often happens with feedback, is that we tell people what we want them to feel or how we want them to be instead of telling them what we want them to do. So what would you like her to do? Do you have a sense?
I'd like her to not come in the office when I'm working.
Okay, so now you're telling her what you don't want her to do. It's very difficult. It's not an easy task to be able to find what it is that you want somebody to do.
I want her to recognize that we're in the office to work and do our work.
Again, recognizes an internal state. So is it that, let me check with you. Would it work for you if when she comes in, she asks you if it's a good time for you before she starts speaking?
Yeah.
That would give you that recognition.
So that's what I need to ask her?
That would help. Because if she doesn't see it on her own, and I understand from her, she says nobody listens to her. So it sounds like there may be several people that experience a similar issue. And you all work together. You want to work together in a way that is collaborative, that takes into consideration where everyone is and works with the reality that you have, not with the illusion of how everybody should be.
Okay.
So if you give her that kind of information, it will help her in navigating the relationships in a way that will nurture everybody's effectiveness and connection both. Would you like
Thank
to
you.
try to convey that information to her?
I would.
Yeah. One last piece of coaching, I would do it not in the moment when she's in your office.
Okay.
Now, why am I telling you this? In the moment when she's in your office, you're going to be irritated.
All right.
If you're irritated, the effectiveness of your feedback decreases.
Okay.
The more irritated you are, the less she's going to be able to hear it. Isn't that true? So you want to find a moment where you're calm, so that the chances of her being able to hear it as an act of friendship increase.
Okay.
So let's imagine you are, at break room having, a cup of tea together. That might be a moment when you want to say that to her.
Okay.
You game for trying?
Game.
And remember what she did, why it matters to you, and what you want her to do differently. Those are the 3 components of useful feedback.
So Amanda, you have a minute?
Yeah.
She's in heaven. Finally, somebody wants to talk with her.
I really wanted to let you know that this morning when I was working and you came in, I would have really appreciated if you'd checked to see if it was a good time for me to stop and talk. Because I get really confused when I lose my focus, and I really needed to get that work done this morning.
So I want to check with you. First of all, this might not be the end of the story, but just for starters, was this easier to hear than everybody telling you, not now, not now, not now?
Definitely. Although I was thinking, I asked him if he had a minute.
So that's very powerful, because sometimes I think that cross-cultural communication relates to every individual with every individual, that each one of us is our own tiny little microculture. In her culture that she lives in internally, asking if you got a minute without waiting for a response from you, it's already checking with you.
Yeah.
I really believe her. She really doesn't get something here. And the piece about giving her feedback is it's a gift to her. If she can hear this and really grasp it, her life will go better. I bet she suffers a lot, thinking that nobody likes her, nobody wants to hear from her. I don't think it's true.
Yeah.
Because she's a sweet being. She has fun stories to tell. It's just her sense of timing and her sense of consideration for other people are not there in the way that you would like them.
Yeah.
So you can help her develop that.
So Amanda, I know when you came in, you asked me if I had a minute, but I've noticed before, you didn't wait for me to answer.
Yeah. So now we're getting even more specific. And just this bit, you didn't wait for me to answer. I bet that's a bit of new information for you.
Yeah.
And now you made the bridge. And on this bridge, you can start walking back and forth to understand each other.
So I know you were really excited about what happened this weekend. Do you want to tell me just a little bit about it before we go off break?
I would love that.
Great.
Thank you. I'm really enjoying the way that this can support Amanda in learning to be a friend and in getting what she wants. That's the key. The idea of the feedback is it's not just to make life easier for you, it's also to support her. It's for both of you.
Thanks.
Anything either one of you would like to add before we go on a break again?
No, thank you.
So I'd like to invite you again to call us at 510-433-0700 if you'd like your situation to be played on the air. And we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have different cast members. Thank you, Marc. Thank you, Segal.
You're welcome.
Welcome.